Hello lovelies, welcome back to the channel. Today you are not seeing my face because I wanted to share with you how to wash brushes, or how I wash my brushes. So there's really nothing special to it. It's just a matter of taking the time out of your day to wash them. But I got to the point where it just could not wait anymore. These are all the ones that I use all the time. So I was actually going to go put on my face to film something else, and I realized I couldn't really do that without washing these first. So first of all, the item that I've started using lately to wash my brushes is this stuff, Cinema Secrets. It comes in this little tiny squirt bottle, or it comes in this much larger one that I can barely even get in the frame. This is 32 ounces and it is pretty expensive. I think it was something like $36. And I've only cleaned brushes once before with this stuff, and I've used that much of it already. So it does go pretty quickly, but it cleans amazingly well. So that's why I'm sticking with this, at least for right now. What I'm going to do, and what the bottle here tells us to do, is to pour some of it into a container. And then what you're going to be doing is dipping your brushes into this container so that the bristles are about a quarter of the way covered in the fluid. So, you know, I use something small like this so that the fluid goes up higher rather than being in a wide flat bowl where there may still be a lot of fluid in it, but it's not going to reach a quarter of the way up the bristles. Do you see what I mean? Height is more important than just how much there is in the bowl, if that makes any sense. So there's one container for this, and then like I said, for items like this, I do have this little spray bottle, so I'm just going to be using that. So I'll just kind of show you how it works on one of my dirtier brushes so you can see the before and after. So there is a blush brush. You can see the blush all over it. This is a my MAC 158. So there it is. You can see the pink. Now let's see what this does for it. So here's my container, and I put the brush in until the bristles are about a quarter of the way in. And you can see, if you looked really closely, that the fluid does run up the bristles. So the container actually mentions that it works by capillary action, that the fluid runs up the bristles and does reach all the way to the root or to the ferrule of the brush. So now that I have it good and soaked in this fluid, I might press it a little bit up against the sides just to get some of that extra off. And then I'm going to take my lint-free cloth here. This one happens to be from IKEA. It was a set of like 3 for $5 or something like that, and I find it works pretty well. It is a little bit stained because I have cleaned brushes with this before, but it's cute. It has little cupcakes on the other side, but we won't worry about that for now. So I take my brush, my wet brush, and I just rub it here. That is a polka dot shining through from the other side. But let's see if we can get, I sometimes have to press pretty hard. I don't think it's really ruining the brush. It's maybe not great for it, but that's the way I do it, at least. And this blue stuff, the Cinema Secrets, does smell really nice also. So a little bit more here. And it's still pink. It's still going to be a little bit stained, but it does look quite a bit better, quite a bit less blushed than it did before. So then I'll just set this aside to dry, maybe in this little container right there, and let that just stay there until it gets good and dry so I can use it. So I'm just going to take this and squirt it on, and this is what I use for bronzer often, a little bit of contouring, so this might come off pretty brown as well. You can kind of see it in the bristles there, or maybe not, but anyway. Okay, so I'm just going to buff this out. You can see it coming right on out of those bristles, so that's looking pretty good. Well, it's not so visible to see what's coming off in this case, but I can tell that the brush is cleaner. And there we go. These are going to shed a little bit. Elf, you know, is pretty good quality for the price, but you do have to consider the price. So it's going to shed just a bit, but generally they hold together pretty well. A couple of these little odds and ends here falling apart, but generally pretty good. So I'll set this aside and let it dry. Just rub, try not to rub it out of the pattern of the bristles, so I'm not going to try to like get in between the bristles here, stick my finger like down into the brush, but I just kind of rub and rub. You can kind of splay out the bristles, that helps a little bit too, so that all the parts of it are rubbing against the cloth. I think that's actually pretty clean. Looks pretty good to me. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to show you about cleaning, guys. I'm just going to continue that process for all of the rest of these little babies and hopefully get them all nice and clean so I can put on my face once again. So until next time, see ya.